Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of your Frederish podcast. Ho, ho, ho. My name's Santa Claus. No. I'm still your homie, Gary here, right here with you guys. How are you guys doing today? Tell me, that's basically the last Friday, the last before the last Friday of the year, and actually the last Friday before Christmas. Well, and you just didn't guess. I'm not gonna say you guessed correctly because you read a title, but that's right. That's the last Friday before Christmas, and this is the topic. This is today's topic. How do you feel about it? What kind of relation you have in your life, in your history, your background with this holiday? I'm gonna say. I want to say, and I'm gonna say that this is the most important holiday, no matter your religious background, even if you're in not religious person at all. I would bet a dime that there is something between you and Christmas inside your memories or affective feelings, history, background, everything. Tell me, how do you feel about it? Well, I must tell you guys, I feel absolutely amazing about it. I love it. I'm just like a regular person. I mean, I'm not like the biggest fan ever, the guy who just keeps thinking of Christmas across the year, like those people like kind of counting the days to Christmas. Some people even have a kind of a countdown clock on their Facebook pages, counting the days to Christmas. I'm not that much of a fan, but still a big fan. I mean, like a regular person. But that's it. So today we're gonna talk about it, and one of the first things we have to say about Christmas is that, well, you don't necessarily have to be religious to celebrate that. It's much more today, in my opinion, it's much more. I'm a religious person, but, I must say that, okay? It is much more a cultural thing than a religious thing, I mean, if you're religious, well, there's lots of things in your schedule related to church and stuff, right? But if you're not, like, you can still put up a tree. I mean, maybe if you're an atheist or someone like that, your deist, quote unquote, friends may make fun of you, but that's okay. That's part of the game. They won't care. I think that there's a kind of a feeling at the end of the year, right? Which belongs not only to Christmas but also to like vacations, and it's very interesting to mention, and it just has just crossed my mind right now. It is interesting to mention that, like, well, we celebrate Christmas in a different way. I mean, not in a different way, but inevitably in a different way because of the weather, compared to our brothers in the north hemisphere, like United States, England, etc. Because, well, like, as you probably, if you've never been there, you've probably seen that on TV, like snow, everything white around. Even in our decorations, in our home decorations, we have like snow all around, because this is the face of this holiday, right? But we don't have that here. I mean, the other way around. It's one of the hottest periods of the year, right? Especially during this very summer in which I'm recording this audio. So, like, it's kind of surprises me to think that even that doesn't break the magic. It kind of connects us, like North Hemisphere and South Hemisphere, in a way that, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I'm just opening my heart here, guys. This is totally off the script. So yeah, that's it. Right. Let me just share quickly my personal history with Christmas. I mean, inevitably that will be with religious and family, of course, two almost inevitable things in our modern society, or in our society in general, modern or ancient. Well, I was raised in a Catholic family. Okay, so, and they're very connected to these holidays, these church holidays, right? Meaning that, like, when it was Christmas, our family, grandparents, parents, uncles, and everybody would gather together to sit and eat and drink and celebrate. Okay, usually, making barbecue, drinking, kids drinking soda, grown-ups drinking alcohol, all that kind of thing, like as the rapper Criollo says, we drink alcohol even in Christ's birthday. But anyways, I didn't back in the days because I was a kid, and I don't today because I don't like it. But anyways, so this is just like to tell you that my background with Christmas is just totally ordinary, totally normal, So yeah, I have these memories, right? And like, unfortunately, we lost that over the years. Okay, so like, the younger I am, the older the memory I have, the better it is when it comes to Christmas, which leads me to think that it was mostly based on my grandparents. My grandparents were the ones really having the things going. Today they're much older than they were when I was a kid, of course, inevitably, and they don't have the same energy anymore to do these things, and the rest of the family kind of doesn't do that. If they haven't done that, we haven't done that. So it is bottom line here is like, I feel sad for having this tradition weakening over the past years. Okay, but at the same time, I believe that this is not only explained by this factor, that is that my grandparents, were the ones behind everything, are older and consequently have a lower energy to such events. Not only this is like at least 60% of the thing, but I come to think and to believe, and you tell me if you agree, if that makes any sense, that people in general have been losing this feeling of, hey, let's get together at the end of the year, family. I really hope it's my impression, but I kind of see that all around, not only in my family. But that's never too late, guys. I mean, I have to say that if you have like family, be with them. I mean, if you can't be with them on Christmas, no problem, but go see them, somewhere near, somewhere near in the future. I mean, like, like go see them, go be with them. The magic's at the end of the year, not necessarily on this date, despite of what it may represent to us, as Christians. But yeah, like, it's never too late. It's never, I mean, like, sometimes I think that we have a feeling of well, this is kind of a waste of time and money, I mean, we're growing poorer. I mean, most people, like, that's kind of a cycle, but the poor only gets poorer, always gets poorer. That's what they say, and I hate it, but I tend to believe that there is certain truth in that. But don't think like, hey, it's a waste of money or even a waste of time. No, being with the ones you love, it's always the best investment. Because, well, I didn't want to be the one to break it to you, but people you love it won't always be there, forever. So. That's not the purpose of this episode, to bring things to this kind of a sentimental aspect, but that's it, that's a fact, so think about it, all right? Okay, so now getting back to the script, I want to bring courtesy, yeah, you guessed correctly, courtesy of ChatGPT, 5 interesting facts about Christmas. And the first one, I'm gonna read it for you guys right now. Origin of the name. The term Christmas is derived from Old English phrase Christus Masse. I hope I pronounced that correctly, by the way. Meaning Christ's Mass. Okay, guys, Mass, okay, is Mass, Massa, okay? But in case you don't know, it's also the name of the Catholic religious celebration, Missa, okay? All right. The holiday commemorates the birth of Jesus Christ, and the celebration has evolved over centuries with a blend of religious and secular traditions. Well, this is a very interesting thing to mention, right? Because if we go back in the Bible, we don't see people there celebrating Christmas. Of course, the Bible after, like in the New Testament, like after our Lord Jesus Christ passed away. You don't see the apostles, okay, Jesus' disciples celebrating it. So it didn't exist back then, right? So it's something that came centuries later. And it has a mix, a blend of traditions and other, religions, which years ago I would see with bad eyes. I would go, it's actually one of the reasons why I feel so guilty about having my family, get kind of weakening over the Christmas celebrations. Because years ago, when I was kind of discovering myself in spiritual terms, so to say, I was like, hey, this is kind of paganism and stuff, which I think it's totally, I don't want to say this word, but it doesn't make any sense, or doesn't make that much sense, I would think, years ago, right? It is a blend of pagans cultures, but who's to say that pagans have only bad things? They were people just like you and I, and like what's the point of having these factors blended, mixed with the Christian culture? It only makes Christian culture richer, in my opinion, so this is important to be said. So let's jump into the second interesting fact about it, according to Chatty, which is the cute way I used to refer to ChatGPT. Christmas trees across cultures. The tradition of decorating Christmas trees has its roots in the 16th century Germany. However, the use of evergreen trees as a symbol of life during winter has deep historical roots in various cultures, including ancient Egyptians, Romans, and Vikings. Today, Christmas trees are a central part of holiday celebrations worldwide. This is another very, very interesting thing. I mean, it doesn't make much sense of saying you celebrate Christmas if you don't have a Christmas tree in your house, right? Even I got one here, today, no matter how small I am, quote unquote, in terms of enthusiasm over the holiday, the Christmas tree is there, right? So I would even say the presents, right? The traditions of giving presents to people you love and like. Yeah, that's it. That's the minimum, right? One interesting thing to say, I don't know if you noticed that, but in United States, Canada, in the North Hemisphere, they actually buy real trees. Here in the South Hemisphere, we don't do that because those trees, which in English are called fir trees, if I'm not mistaken, let me just Google it quickly. Fir trees. Oh my God, fir trees. We don't have those trees in the South Hemisphere. That's the thing, right? Yeah, that's it. Fir trees. Okay, fir trees. Maybe they're pine trees. There are different names. They're not only this specific, but the main one is the fir tree. Okay, fir, F-I-R. Okay, tree, arboree. Okay, yeah, that's it. We use like our plastic ones, artificial ones here, and but there in North Hemisphere, I'm not gonna say everyone, but most people have one real tree cut, and they bring to their places. And it gets quite beautiful to see. They decorate all around with the usual decorations. I just felt like this is an interesting fact to be shared here. Interesting fact number 3, evolution of Santa Claus. Okay, guys, Santa Claus is Papai Noel, okay? Santa Claus. The interesting vocabulary thing. That game you play with your work colleagues at the end of the year, that you like buy gifts, buy presents to people you don't know who are going to be. You just you just get the names randomly from from a hat or something. Um, it's called Secret Santa. Okay, in Brazil we say, I mean, at least here where I live, we call it amigo secreto. In English is Secret Santa. That would be basically Papai Noel secreto. Interesting, isn't it? The modern image of Santa Claus with his red suit, white beard, and jolly demeanor has evolved over time. The character is based on the Dutch figure Sinterklaas, brought to America by Dutch settlers. The red suited reindeer flying Santa we know today was popularized in the 19th century, notably by the Coca Cola Company's marketing in the 1930s. Well, guys, this is a very interesting and truthful fact, right? The Santa Claus is a quite modern character. We just look at it and think like, hey, this thing probably is around for over the last 1,000 years. And no, it's like 100 years old, 150 years old. The thing, like, I mean, the one we see today is like not even 100 years old. But the figure of Santa Claus in general is it's a little bit older, but fairly recent. Okay, I'm not gonna go deeper into this history, but I think you should if you're curious enough to see, who was this Santa Claus guy, and this Dutch man. It's an interesting thing. I would really recommend you. But let's go to interesting fact number 4, according to ChatGPT here. Holiday traditions around the world. Christmas is celebrated in various ways around the world, each culture contributing its unique traditions. For example, in Sweden, it is common to celebrate with a feast on December 24th, while in Japan, Christmas is often marked by the exchange of gifts and a special meal, despite not being a national holiday. I mean, the feast on December 24th, I think it's kind of universal. I mean, here in Brazil, that's where we feast and celebrate. Okay, by the way, feast, F-E-A-S-T, is like eating, okay? It's a meal, okay? It's banquete, the translation. All right. The thing of exchange of gifts and presents, okay? It's like also done on the 25th. I mean, like it's pretty similar in most of the countries, except for those like really stuck to their national roots, like the Arab countries or maybe like China, for example. They have a different, they have it going in a different way. Some of them don't even celebrate Christmas, so that's not even a good example to bring. Interesting fact number 5, and we close it off for today. I'll let you guys celebrate Christmas with your family. That's basically what I suggest you guys doing right after this episode is finished. Okay, here we go. Record-breaking decorations. The largest display of Christmas lights ever recorded was in 2014 in Canberra, Australia. It featured over 1.2 million lights. Additionally, the tallest Christmas tree ever cut was a 221-foot Douglas fir tree, as I mentioned before, erected in 1950 at the Northgate Shopping Center in Seattle, Washington. These feats highlight the grand scale to which people go to spread festive cheer. All right, guys. Well, in spite of the numbers here I mentioned, especially the ones in feet, which it's hard for us to measure, right? I would say like the 221 feet would be something like 70 meters, 60 meters. Anyways, doesn't matter. You go check that later on, anyways. But the decorations are, one of the most beautiful things, aesthetically speaking, of course, related to Christmas. Like here in Curitiba, where we live, I love going out in Christmas during night and see the lights in the houses. Like it really enlightens. I mean, like it really lights up. Better saying. Something inside me, and it's marvelous. It's just beautiful to look at, Of course, you have to be careful because we're talking about electricity there. If you're listening to me, if you're younger, go, ask your parents for some help, of course. Or even if you're grown up, go ask for someone for help. Don't do that alone. But it's something interesting if you have money and if you have, energy to do that, to bring it to your house. I think it's really something to be appreciated. And that's all for this episode, guys. Thank you so very much for your precious and lovely company. My name's Gary, and I see you in the next episode. Bye.